All right, here we go. What's up, hockey fans and hockey fanatics out there? Welcome to the Hockey Lounge, episode 31 for Tuesday, August 31st, the last day of August. You can feel it in the air, app. Hockey season is almost here. We are 42 days away from puck drop, the NHL season. I can feel it outside. It's cool. I can feel the hockey in the air. App, what's going on, big guy?
Not much, doing good. How are you? Yeah, you're right, though. Definitely getting exciting. Training camp, couple weeks.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so the countdown is on. It's like waiting for Christmas Eve. Checking off the boxes on the calendar. Can't wait for training camp and the NHL season to come upon us. Update with the Ladies World IHF Championships. Canada and U.S. tied at 2. The U.S. were up 2-0, and the Canadian girls came back. It's 2-2 in the second period. We'll keep you posted. Hopefully, App has some type of ticker on his phone that he can give us some information. I can turn on the TV here and get some live scores here. So we'll keep you posted throughout the show. Okay, so NHL news and notes, App. Let's start off with the Blackhawks re-signed Connor Murphy, 4 years. Just show that up there for everybody. 4 years, $17.6 million, 4.4 per season. He was drafted in 2011, 20th overall to the former Phoenix Coyotes, which are now the Arizona Coyotes. What are your thoughts on this signing?
It's a pretty steady defenseman, middle pair, bottom pair defenseman. He's pretty steady. I think 4.4 is a little rich for me. I know he was a first-round pick and all. I don't think he's lived up to that yet, but that's a pretty good amount of money he's making there for a second, third pair defenseman.
Right, and if you look at his stats last year, he played 50 games, 3 goals, 12 assists, 15 points, was a +1. In 2019-2020, he played 58 games, 5 goals, 14 assists, 19 points for a +2. The one thing that I can say about this player here is that playing on the Blackhawks, I guess as a defenseman the last few years would be tough to be a plus player. So good on him. He's still got some years in him. And we talked about it a few shows ago with the defensemen, and we even talked about it last week on our show, top 5 defensemen in the NHL today. The price of a defenseman now is up, and it's rising.
Yeah, plus they might have thought of investing in him because now he can learn under Seth Jones. Jones is going to be there now. Maybe he can learn a thing or two, and he can blossom. Who knows? Like you said, defensemen, they progress slowly. Let's see what we got.
Yeah, for sure. So interesting signing there again. Connor Murphy re-signs with the Chicago Blackhawks. Moving on to Double K. This came down on Saturday, app. I love this type of stuff because – you know what? It just seems like the boys club, they don't like to rock the boat.
Yeah.
I want to see more guys signing offer sheets.
Yeah.
Because if you can't trade,
I agree with you.
Why not?
I agree with you.
Right?
It's you're not cheating.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean the way this one happened with Bergevin, how he rocked the boat with Aho, with Carolina.
Yeah,
the way this is going to play out is phenomenal.
It's fantastic. That's why I have on the header here: Revenge of the Hurricanes. Right?
What you don't have there's the $20 signing bonus just because of Sebastian Aho's number.
Exactly. Yes. Right. That's fantastic. And also too, Double K, the Hurricanes tweeted this in French.
Yep.
Which was fantastic. You gotta love it.
And I believe they worded it the exact same way when Montreal announced that they were offering Aho.
Yeah, it's it's tick for tack. Yeah. The crazy thing though, and reading all these articles today and over the weekend is $6.1 million 1 year. I say the Canadians let him go.
Yeah, because I think he's got to be. I think you got to re-up him for the same amount for the year after. I think is how it works.
No, you don't have to re-up him for.
He just becomes an RFA again.
Yeah, exactly. So basically.
But you're right. For that amount of money, if I'm Montreal, I think I got to let him go.
You got to let him go. You're not putting that cap hit to your team and putting a stranglehold here, right?
Especially on a guy that you were healthy scratching in the Stanley Cup Finals.
100%. And I have that down here. He was a healthy scratch. If you look at his stats, he was, drafted 2018, third overall. So that's top 5. Yep. 2021, 56 games played, 5 goals, 15 assists, 20 points, a -1. 19 and 20, 36 games played, 6 goals, 2 assists, 8 points, -11. And you go back to 18-19, 79 games played, 11 goals, 23 assists, 34 points, a +1. What is the ceiling for Double K for Kotkaniemi? What is the ceiling here?
I think he projects to be a pretty good player still. I still think he's got a way to go to learn. But I mean, he was one of the sparks that turned that Leaf series around, if you ask me. Yeah. I think his play really helped Montreal come back in that series when they were down 3-1. I think he's got some game in him, and like you said, a third overall pick. It's tough for Montreal to give up on him right now, but for that price, I think you got to let him go.
Yeah, I agree. The ceiling I see for him is second line, third line center tops. Now, that's the ceiling I see right now with him. I think he's got some offensive flair. He can throw the body around when he wants to. I've seen him do that. He played really well against the Penguins in the bubble, the first round. He came out of his shell. He actually got sent down to the AHL that season for some time, came back with a little chip on his shoulder, came back with a beard, and started playing heavy hockey. I believe he does have upside. Do I see him as a first-line center? No, I see him as second or third-line center.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Of course you're going to agree. This is the Hockey Lounge, right?
Well, I don't often agree with Penguins fans, but on this one I will.
Right. All right. So we were talking offline about the crazy rumor that I heard today about Casey Cizikas. And this is absolutely, and when we talk about the Islanders, we talk about Big Lou. We talk about, dedication, loyalty to Big Lou, the Islanders. Rumor out there, Cizikas, 6-year deal, 2.5 per with the Islanders. Reportedly versus the Kraken offering a $5 million per year contract. Don't know the length, but supposedly around that 5 to 4 years. Passing up on, $2.5 million. Cizikas is at 30 years old, 31 years old. How many contracts does he have left up? 1 maybe. This is it. Could be, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't want to cash in. Very, very interesting to see what he does there. What are your thoughts here?
Very interesting. That's a steal for the Islanders if that's the case. You look at what Coleman got and what Goudreau got and everything like that. Yeah. He's a similar type player, but he's done it for a longer period of time. I think he's more valuable than both of those guys. It's a steal for the Islanders at 2.5 a year.
Sign me up.
There's got to be some loose side money or something going on there on top of that.
Maybe.
Because like you're saying, he can cash in on this contract anywhere he wants to go. Excuse me.
Right. Yeah.
And it's his last one.
Right. And two up. You look at Cizikas, and if he has a chance to go play for Seattle, you never know. We've seen it with the Knights, and we're going to get into the Pacific Division in a bit here, and the Seattle Kraken and whatnot. But hey, you know what? You never know what the Kraken do this year. We talked about the Islanders in our Metro preview. We're thinking they're the number 1 team out there right now in the East, maybe. So maybe he's looking for a cup. I'm not sure, right? Interesting. Very, very interesting to see. We'll see if that actually happens within the next couple of days. But we've talked about it before. There are guys looming in New York Islander world that haven't signed yet. We haven't heard too much. So we'll see what Big Blue does here. Tipu's back in the lounge. Tips, we always love you back in the lounge. Seems that he's saying that Apple flipped the jersey around. Looks like he ironed it. He got the big iron out. So
I got more to come. I left this one, and he's right. I just flipped it only because we're doing the Pacific, and Scott
Okay.
Niedermeyer played for the Ducks. So
Oh, that's right. Oh, look at that, eh?
so we got to tie it all in.
Wow.
And yesterday was his birthday.
Yeah. Oh, was it Niedermeyer's birthday too?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You sing happy birthday to him yesterday?
Yeah, I gave him a kiss.
That a boy. Teeps is on fire tonight. He's already starting. I'm sure he's had a couple cold ones. So look at that one, right? He needs something to dry his truck. So, buddy, you know what? Listen, you got to respect Niedermeyer. Maybe if it was somebody else, okay, like a Randy Wood or somebody that we talked about, Neil Broughton the other day, maybe those two jabronis, but not Niedermeyer, man. Team Canada helped out. All right. So we got Christopher Tipu is in the lounge. Christopher, what's up, buddy? With the Tampa Bay logo. Tough night last night. Couple games, but keep your head high. Tough goings there, but we'll definitely get them next time, Christopher. So keep it going. All right. The Pacific Division. And, man, when we talk about the Pacific, really not too much to talk about there. It's one of those divisions. The weather's great, like we put in the thumbnail with the palm trees, nice cars, flip-flops, golfing, beach, right? Margaritas on the beach, right? Dark sunglasses, of course, if you have a wife or a girlfriend, if you're on the beach. That's a tip from the tipster. Looking at this division, and we're going to go through each team here, and we'll start off with a team reset. So we're going to call them team resets. Who improved in the Pacific Division? Who didn't? And we're going to start off with the Vegas Golden Knights. And we talked about multiple times on this show the subtraction, but we're going to talk about the additions. We'll get the subtractions up. Okay, so Dandanoff up front forward, skilled forward. Nolan Patrick, we talked about that trade last week with Alfie. Brett Howden, another forward. And they have their new backup in Laurent Brosseau from the Winnipeg Jets. Subtractions, of course, the Vezina Trophy winner. I will repeat that again. The Vezina Trophy winner, he was traded. Marc-Andre Fleury, Ryan Reeves, Cody Glass, and Nick Holden. Winner or loser with team reset, the Vegas Knights?
I think right now they're loser, mainly in my mind because of Fleury. They got nobody to lean on if Leonard goes cold, if he has his mental issues again.
Right.
Any number of things can go wrong there. Yeah. They don't have their backup.
Yeah.
They're supposedly in still, I think, on the Eichel thing, but who the hell knows where that's going? But as it stands right now, to me, I think they're a little bit worse off than they were at the end of last year.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, again, you take away Marc-Andre Fleury, Ryan Reeves. He's a guy. Listen, you just got to keep that dude. He's a police officer out there. I would keep that guy. He's one of the guys I keep. You bring in Nolan Patrick. Listen, maybe a change in environment there. Hopefully he's over his health issues. New start. Brings the capabilities, the star power that he had been projected for in Vegas. Dandanoff, right? I don't know.
They got to be careful with how they start because Alex Tuch just had surgery too, and he's out 6 months. He's out till December.
Right.
So,
be interesting to see. It could be. Listen, it could be a flop. It could be a flop there. When it comes to goaltending, right? Like they've had the luxury of having a 1A, 1B there for a year and a little bit. Look out, right?
Yep.
Look out. So, Teeps wants to know. He wants to know when you're ready for some Devils trivia questions. So, listen, Teeps. You know what? I think we're gonna, hopefully with all this COVID-19 stuff, it settles down, whatnot. But I think maybe we should just bring that the hockey lounge to your garage and have us there, all three of us, and have Apple there, and we can get the signings in your garage too. We'll get the lines, the lineup going with bracelets and whatnot to get a picture with App. So we'll try to schedule that. Team resets, Pacific Division. App, you brought a good point here offline before we came on about the Vancouver Canucks. I sort of forgot about these guys. But let's look at their additions. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Connor Garland, Halak, Luke Shen. Subtractions, Nate Shit. He is getting shit. Nate Schmidt, Alexander Edler, Braden Holtby, and Jay Beagle. So what are your thoughts on the additions?
They also got Dickinson, right?
Right. And
they got Dickinson. They got Pullman from Winnipeg as well.
So the team reset from the NHL is a little behind them.
Okay.
There you go. So, but good points there.
I think they've improved. I do. I think they've improved. Plus another year for Quinn Hughes to get better on the back end. I think they're a bit better than they were last year.
Yeah.
I think they're getting there. They're getting there. They're really getting there to challenge in a division that, like you said off the top, doesn't look that strong.
Can Demko live to his expectations? I like Halak as a backup. I really like that addition. I like the addition of Larson. Connor Garland, so underrated. Wicked hockey player. Little guy, but he can move. He's shifty. Luke Shen, couple cups. He can throw the fisticuffs. You just roll your eyes there because he's a former Maple Leaf. That's the problem. That's the problem.
I just think it's shit. I just think
Hold on.
Big shit.
Yes, you got to say that.
Even
hashtag shit.
A couple of cups, but he even looked out of place when I was watching him with Tampa last year. He's too slow. I just think he's too slow. When he played with Philly, he played with the Leafs. He just looks slow. Yeah. I don't know how he keeps getting jobs, to be honest with you.
Well, again, when you get some rings behind you and that savvy, you get a job, right? Maybe it's all about. I don't think he'll be in the lineup every night. It'll be eating popcorn, and if somebody gets injured, he'll be in there. But definitely, I like what Vancouver's done. I'm a big believer in Travis Green. I think he's a really good coach. And listen, I read an article about talking about offer sheets or whatnot. Interesting to see that nobody has gone after, and somebody brought it up today in this article, the Seattle Kraken. Okay, why not take a shot like Patterson? Why not do that?
It's not just him. Any team that's got cap space, not just Seattle. This guy's a hell of a player.
Yeah, right. So I just, it's mind-boggling because, again, I think it's more of a respect thing. And that's one of the problems in the NHL is that, I don't want it to become like the NBA. I think it's a little bit more of a circus over there with guys trying to build these teams by, superstar teams and whatnot, and trying to buy the way to the championship. But I want to see a little bit more of fun for the fans, more to talk about. It just seems to be somewhat, I don't know, too blonde, too boys club. Let's get it going, right? So Seattle Kraken team reset. Now it's not really a team reset. It's more of a what they got, what they added here. Additions, subtractions, because they do have some subtractions. They have, we talked about it, Grubauer, Giordano, Schwartz, Everly, Gord. Subtractions are Tyler Pitlick, Curtis McDermott, and they had Vitek Vinacek, and he's no longer there. So what are your thoughts on Seattle?
The unknown, right? They look like, so they've got some good players. We've spoken about their defense when after the expansion draft, that they got a pretty good deep defense. They got a good top 4 or 5. They're going to be competitive. How they gel together, who knows?
Right.
Who knows? I'm not expecting a Vegas type season from them, but when Vegas' inaugural year. But I think they'll be competitive for sure.
Yeah, I do too. I think it'll be fun to see and see what type of upsets they have throughout the season. If they can get in the top 8, we'll see what they do. I think, again, Ronnie Francis, he's one of those guys that I don't think he's going to be a knee-jerk type of general manager. He's going to be more methodical, right? He's played under some really good GMs, so I think he knows what he's doing. Looking at the San Jose Sharks, they are one team that can never get over the hump. It's just unbelievable. Since they came into the league, they've had really good squads.
Yeah. And they're at the point where if you're a Sharks fan, I think you get demoralized by what's been going on this offseason because they brought in Aiden Hill to replace Martin Jones, and that's about it. It's like there was no attempt from my eyes, unless I'm missing somebody, to get any better.
They brought some veteran savvy leadership. I like both these players. They brought in Andrew Cogliano. Okay. Listen, you know what? He's not a kid, but his skating ability is always there. So he can still skate with the best of them. They brought in Nick Bonino, another guy with leadership, a couple cups, can win faceoffs, penalty kill. Good player, but more of a third liner. Both guys, third, fourth liner players, right? They brought in James Reimer, like you said, and Aiden Hill. Goaltending is definitely going to be the issue, and I think the thing hanging over everything right now with the Sharks is the Evander Kane situation. We talked about it, shows back. I just read tonight that Thomas Hertel of the San Jose Sharks is not happy the way the Sharks are handling the Evander Kane situation, and it seems that his feathers are ruffled and he might want his way out of San Jose.
Yeah, it's a tough spot. It doesn't look like it's going to be a promising year for the Sharks.
Right.
You're hearing the rumors that some of the teammates, Hertel aside, don't want him there anymore. Yeah. I don't see Kane playing for San Jose this year. Now you got another guy that might want his way out. And like you said, Bonino and Cogliano, they're not going to get you an extra 15 points to get you close to playoff contention. Those two guys, they're great role players, like you said.
Yeah.
But they're not really difference makers. So I think it's going to be a long year for the Sharks.
Yeah, I do too. And, it's, they went to the Cup final in 2016. And, that was their time. That was their time to, flourish, get back there, rebuild. And they have some good pieces there. They had some good young pieces, this Hertel kid. But it just seems that they just haven't found their way ever since then. And they're constantly bringing back Patrick Marleau. I don't know how many times you can bring him back, right? So this is an interesting team, and do you have an update on the score up?
Still the same. Still 2-2.
Okay, still 2-2. I think they're in intermission right now. So I just put on the TV there to find out, but there wasn't a score, but it's 2-2. End of the second. Team USA, Team Canada for the gold tonight. Edmonton Oilers team reset. Man, when I look at this, I like a few of their additions, but I still can't wrap my head around the one that they haven't added. So additions: Zach Hyman, Duncan Keith, Cody Ceci, Warren Foegele. Subtractions: Adam Larson, Ethan Bear, Caleb Jones, James Neal. For the additions, what are they missing?
Goalie.
It's unbelievable. I cannot. Tipu saying bring Ken Danico out of retirement.
He's large.
Oh, listen, I saw Ken Danico. I think he was on some program the other day. He could probably still play. He's thick as a moose, right? And he still has the fire in his eyes. So, yeah, man. Kenny Danico, he was a beast. So what is Ken Holland thinking in Oilerland? I don't understand this. You have the best player in the universe in terms of offensive skill in Connor McDavid, and you still have not got him a legitimate number one goalie.
Without even looking like you're trying.
Exactly.
15 goalies. That was the last count that I had. 15 goalies
Right.
switched teams,
Right.
and they didn't go after any of them. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't get it.
If we talked about being a San Jose Sharks fan, and imagine being an Edmonton Oiler fan when you see you have McDavid, Draisaitl, and now you have to find that goalie. That's all you need to at least get by the first, second round.
Yeah.
Okay. I also saw an article today. I was reading today. Don't like to read all the time, but there's a lot of stuff coming out, and they were talking about McDavid's goal this year is to become a better defensive hockey player, which I totally agree with him. I think, you know what? He sort of has to go the Sidney Crosby route, refine his game. When Sidney Crosby came in the league, yes, all offense. But to win, Michel Therrien brought him into his office and said, kid, you know what? I need you to play 200 feet. He played 200 feet. What happens? They went to the Stanley Cup Finals. Same thing with Connor. He's got to take care of his own end. But you know how it is. You get a goal scored on you, that's shit. Hashtag shit. Everything sort of deflates. So yeah. I still don't believe. I like the back end. I do. Cody Ceci got overpaid, but he played fantastic last year with the Penguins. I like him as a depth guy. Duncan Keith, how much juice does he have left in the tank? Not sure. Zach Hyman, again, overpaid, but good player. He showed that he can play with guys like Matthews and Marner. Yeah. Now he's going to be put in the position to play with Draisaitl and McDavid. Where do you see the Oilers at the end of this? And we're not going to talk about standings here. Are they legitimate now, or are we still talking a couple years here?
I still think they're in the weeds.
Yeah.
I still think they're in the weeds. They're above water, but they're in the weeds. And like you said, it's obvious that McDavid's willing to sacrifice or do what he's got to do to help to improve his game for the team to win. Holland's got to go help him out. You got to go get him a goalie.
Yeah,
it's the bottom line. You got to get a goalie.
Right. And again, we talk about this guy a lot, and I do. I'm the one to blame here, and you mentioned this before when we talked about the Central with Chicago. If things go south on Chicago, just as a rental, you got to go after Fleury. If Edmonton's on pace to contend, in the Pacific, contend in the Western Conference, man, you got to find somebody. Even Mrazek that the Leafs signed was a step up of what they have right now.
Right, but when this whole thing with Fleury was going down, somebody in the NHL had to have been talking. Yeah, that Fleury might be on his way out or something. If you're Holland, for what Vegas got for Fleury, you couldn't have at least tried. He might have. I'm not saying he's not. I'm not going to call him an idiot.
Yeah.
But I mean, they really didn't get much for Marc-Andre Fleury.
No. Yeah.
I hope he tried and failed, and I hope he's going to try again because Draisaitl and McDavid deserve to have a goalie back there.
Right. I've been saying this for years. Since McDavid came into the league and then Draisaitl started to pick up the pace. The goalie that I would have targeted for probably the last year or so or 2 years would be Carey Price. And the reason why I say this is that Carey Price wants a cup, right? And his career is not, I'm not saying it's coming to an end, but he's getting into his sunshine years here, right? He's the guy. You put him with a McDavid and Draisaitl and Builder, you got to do this because, I was talking to, again, some guys over the weekend, and they asked me about McDavid, and we talked about McDavid for about 45 minutes. And it's sort of like the Matthews situation in Toronto too. If the Oilers don't get by first or second round next couple of years, do you really think McDavid's going to want to be in Edmonton? I don't see it. And it's the same thing with Matthews, right? Matthews is going to probably say, I'm out of here. I don't need this shit. I'm out. Right. So I don't know. I think the Oilers, Kenny Holland's playing with fire here. He needs to get a goalie. So the Oilers, will see what happens. Maybe that's his plan. Take a look at how they're doing in the season and take it from there. Another Alberta team, the Calgary Flames. Team reset. They added Blake Coleman, 2-time Stanley Cup champion. I love the player. Paid a hefty price for the kid, or for the guy. Zadorov from Chicago. And they brought in Dan Vladar to be the backup there, I believe. And subtractions, they lost their captain to the Seattle Kraken, Mark Giordano, Derek Ryan, and Josh Levo.
I think Giordano's a huge hit for them. Coleman, like you said, Coleman's a great player, great signing, but I think losing the face of the franchise and the glue in the room, I think it's going to hurt them. I really do. This whole division looks like an abyss. You can't predict any of the teams the way it looks. It's just it's hashtag shit.
Well, we're gonna have our prediction show. Once training camp starts with each division, we'll get into that. We're gonna get into the winners of each division. We'll get into the top 8. We're gonna go down right to the wire of the Stanley Cup winner in our prediction shows. Remember, if you want to become a Hockey Lounge member, hit that subscribe button below. If you like the show tonight, take a slap shot at the like button. We always like the likes, and we always like the viewers. This team, I believe, is on the rise. This is the Anaheim Ducks team reset. I like what they're doing. I like the young players. They have a goaltender, Kenny Holland, in Anaheim too, that could be plucked away per se. Additions: Mason McTavish. Again, he got drafted this year. Ryan Getzlaf re-signed. Max Couture re-signs again as well. And I like that player. I think he's a good player as well. You're starting to see him starting to roll here. I think he's going to be a guy that can get you 30-plus goals every year. I like his game. Subtractions: Ryan Miller retired. Dayton Heinen is now a Pittsburgh Penguin. Love that. I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, makes him a contender.
What's that?
Makes you guys a contender.
100%. We're right in there. Jeff Carter's second-line center with Malkin's injury. I feel really excited, Hexy, you bum. Hayden Fleury has gone from Anaheim as well. So team reset. You also have to include here Trevor Zegras. Love the kid, right? And then we got to talk about, my kid's going to love this one, Jamie Drysdale from the 0-2 Marlies. Got to love Jamie Drysdale. Kid's a player, right?
Yep.
You look at this team. They're coming.
They're building.
They're coming, right?
Yep.
So I think, one thing I like about young teams, is they play carefree. They're happy to be in the NHL, right? Yep. They're happy to be there. There's no pressure for them to make the playoffs.
No.
Right? So watch out, because this division, I think anything can happen this year.
Yep.
Right? So Anaheim looks like to be on the uprise. Good goaltending, young players on the back end, young players up front. Can't wait. And even a player that nobody really talks about, he was a high draft pick, still waiting to see what he does, is Sam Steele.
Yeah.
Another guy that, is right there. So we'll see what he does. Another Sunshine team, flip-flops, margaritas, surf dudes, Tinseltown, surf chicks, right?
Yep.
Botox, all that fun stuff. The Los Angeles Kings team reset. What are you're waiting on me? Who are you texting there? Friedman texting you? What's happening there?
13 minutes to go, still 2-2.
Okay,
Tessa Bonhomme is texting me.
Oh, Tessa.
Yeah.
Tessa. She was an awesome hockey player, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Team reset. Additions. The Pizza Man, Philip Deneau. It actually sounds like a pizza brand. No? Philip Deneau. Get your Philip Deneau pizza. Victor Arvidsson. Alex Edler. And again, one of the guys that played in 02 G THL. Brent Clark. Or actually, I think he's in 03. He's in 03. Brent Clark. Just got drafted. So he's not in 02. Jamie got drafted last year. Yeah. Brent Clark got drafted this year. 03, but another player from the G, great defenseman. Not a lot of subtractions in LA 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 Land. Curtis McDermott. That's the second time he's been subtracted in 2 teams here. Honestly, I got to go back here. I got to see where this guy got subtracted again, because I saw this guy twice. Let's see here. All right, so no, yes, there he is. He's been subtracted by Seattle. This guy must be hashtag shit. We got to look at his stats, man. Right? So, what do you think about Lala's?
I think they improved a bit.
Yeah.
With Deno and Arvidsson and Edler compared to their losses. Yeah. I don't know if Clark's going to play this year. We'll see what happens with that.
Right.
But I think they're better than they were last year.
Yeah, I do too. And they're another team that, if you look at their draft picks, they're stocked. They have a lot of youth up front, a lot of youth on the back end. Jonathan Quick is getting up there. I like where this team is going. Are they ready to take the next step? Is Quinton Byfield the real deal app? Like, what are your thoughts on him?
I like him. I like him as a player. I think his speed. I think he's gonna work out. The big question is LA this year, halfway through the year, if they're not in the playoffs. Doughty's getting long in the tooth.
Yes. Yeah.
Kopitar's almost there too. So
right.
At some point, are they just going to say, okay, now we're in rebuild mode? Because they're semi in rebuild mode anyway, like you said, with all the young players.
Dustin Brown.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Quick.
Yeah.
It's like quick.
Yeah.
They might sell.
So again, Kenny Holland, Jonathan Quick, maybe a playoff run. Who knows? Right. Like Drew Doughty. If you think you have a chance to get over the hump and be a real Stanley Cup contender, I'm making that call for that guy. He's got lots of juice left in the tank. The guy's a competitor. He hates to lose.
He's got the pedigree. He's been there.
Yeah, man. He's got jam, right? So definitely interesting. Okay, so the Pacific Division. Again, we talked about all the teams you're up. If I was going to ask you, out of the 8, and again, the NHL alignment this year, Arizona was in the Pacific. They have moved to the Central. Seattle now, first year in the league, they are in the Pacific, which even makes it a little bit weaker because we don't know what Seattle is going to bring. If you're going to look at the 8 teams, who really impressed you with your additions in the team reset?
Vancouver
Canucks.
Yeah.
And you know what? I will agree with you with that. A close second, and the only thing that's missing as a goalie is the Edmonton Oilers. That's it for me. But if you look at Vancouver, I think they've really added guys to complement the roster that they already have.
Yep, for sure.
Thoughts on the Olympics app before we wrap up tonight? It's been reported that the NHL players are going to be going to the Olympics in January or February. What are your thoughts on that? Because I have mine, but I want to hear yours first.
Honestly, Nick, I've never liked the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the idea of stopping the year, having a break in the middle of the season, especially like in February.
Right.
When things are really starting to ramp up with playoff races and stuff like that. I don't like the fact – I don't like seeing Malkin and Ovechkin hugging each other and smiling, and then 2 weeks later they got to go kill each other.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I never liked the Olympics, to be honest with you. That's my personal opinion, especially because it's at the beginning of the year. I remember years back when they used to do the World Cup of Hockey, we even had it here in Toronto one year where they did it before the season.
Yeah.
That I don't mind before, but to stop the season halfway through, I don't like it. I don't like the optics of it.
Right. And I totally agree with you. And there's a couple of things why I don't like it. Number one is if your team's on a roll, there's a stoppage, injuries. Your team is, if you're a good team, you might have up to 8 or 9 guys going over to play in the Olympics. I'm a believer that the Olympics should be for amateur athletes. They work their asses off to be there. Let them play. There's guys out there NCAA, junior, pro hockey. Let them represent the country. The pros do enough. They have enough on their plate. They make enough money. And to me, if you're trying to showcase and grow the league, if I'm Bettman, I'm not worried about showcasing the league app internationally.
Yeah.
I'd be worrying about growing the league in the U.S.
Yeah.
Never mind, right?
Yeah. Agreed.
So, and what's interesting about this all is, the previous Olympics, the NHL players didn't go, right?
Yep.
We're in a pandemic now too, App.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I'm not sure where that, again, I just find it interesting why we would go this year, pandemic, whatnot, right? So we got a question. We got a trivia question. We're going to be wrapping it up soon tonight, the Hockey Lounge, but we got a trivia question here from Tipu for Apple. Who was the last player on the Devils to score a goal before the 04-05 lockout took place?
This is the question that kicked me out last week. You just read this question when I got knocked out, remember?
Yeah.
Scott Niedermayer, nice.
There you go.
Nice.
Answer, Scott Niedermayer. So maybe we go to Teep's Garage, have Hockey Lounge trivia, have some fun with it, have some brewskis. We'll try to hook it up. Hopefully this COVID thing doesn't go wild. I know Teeps already has the vaccine passport for his garage, if anybody's interested. Attaboy Teeps. Final thoughts on one more thing here, App. The Toronto Maple Leafs, Buffalo Sabres, looking to do an outdoor game in Hamilton.
I like the idea.
Yeah.
Buffalo Toronto outdoor game's a great idea. Why they chose Hamilton, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
My question would be, the first Winter Classic back in the day there when it was Pittsburgh and Buffalo.
Yeah.
Okay. And years after that, Detroit, Toronto that was awesome, that game. Do you think they're just too many like stadium series now? Like the wow of it is gone. It was like January 1st. I finally, we talked about this in the beginning of the show, App. The NBA, they play on Christmas Day. They have these games, the NFL, whatnot, right? And then when they came out with the Outdoor Classic, it was Jan 1. You're like, it's New Year's Eve, you're partying, you're drinking, you're going crazy. And then you're like, you fall asleep on your couch, you take your couple of Advil, and you're like, Winter Classic tomorrow, awesome, right?
Yeah.
Now it's Winter Classic all the time.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. It's lost its luster. I think it's even getting to the point where players that have played in one before,
yeah,
they don't want to play.
Yeah.
It's freezing cold.
Yeah.
Like Toronto, like you said, Toronto played Detroit.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sold that like Matthews or Marner say want to go outside again in January.
I know.
Play again in January. Because I think the first time you do it, it's an experience.
Right.
But I think after that, I think you'd rather play inside in the warm of the Air Canada Center.
Hey, for sure. All right, so we'll be back this week sometime. Again, if you want to become a Hockey Lounge member, hit that subscribe button below. If you like the show, take a slap shot on my head or Apple's head. Slap shot that like button. App, it's been great. Have a good night to the viewers. Thanks for watching. We will see you next time on the Hockey Lounge.